Okay. This is often our phase when we're required of to submit a topic or a title, for example. And then the challenge is, oh, no, not the challenge. The wrong practice is requiring students to submit title at the very beginning of the course, or not just even at the beginning of the course, but at the beginning of the research process. If you don't, probably some of you in your experience in your master's program or even in your undergraduate program, 'di ba? The very beginning of the research process is students are required to submit title. Tama? Wala mag-agree sa ako. Okay. Sige.
Tama, sir. Yes, sir.
O title gid ang gapangayoon. Sugod pa gani sa, let's say, first few weeks sa research nga class or a methods class, pangayoon na din ng estudyante og title, di ba? Dili topic, but ang gapangayoon is title. And that's actually a wrong practice. No, I remember um I'm often invited as a panel member aning isa ka private college, okay, private college slash university, hindi mo ka kabalo asa. Kanya, masikon nila invite panel, I think 2 years ago, and karon recently, din ako nila gina-invite. Oo. Common nila practice is, na sila gitawag og title defense. So, they call it title defense. Yung matingal ako kay, ang ilang title defense is they just present kind of itong titles, and then, yeah, the panel will comment about the title. Yung tingnan ko nga, ano magsugod ta og title? Yeah, tungod na to, wala ako nila invite. Okay. Palaway mo good. Mo na. So, tingala kung ano gasugod og title. Di ba sa USTP, dili ta title defense. It's concept paper. Oh, not title. The reason why is students should be immersed first with the literature to come up with a researchable topic. And I'm very sure that by now, kamo, mga PhD students here, have already understood that we do not just do research based on our plan. Nga niya kung gusto buhaton, gusto na ko i-correlate ni, gusto ko interview, nga ni, dili man. We've learned in the previous sessions we had, in even in your in the consultation we had last Saturday, that topics should come from the gaps in the literature, especially if it's a dissertation. If it's an action research, then the topics could come from challenges you've encountered in the actual practice, in the practice of your profession, non-action research. But for dissertation, it should come from the literature. So how do you expect students to come up with titles without even consulting the literature first? Di ba? How do you expect them to come up with titles of a good research without even consulting the literature? No, ako nang gibalik twice, no? Therefore, it's wrong. It's a wrong practice. It's a tawag ani. It harms our profession because it creates a notion. Munang di ko matingala kato siya nga school, quote unquote, kay ang ilang mga research na formula. Ito. Kasi pasabot na ng formula. Pareha na ilang pagka-state sa ilang mga statement of the problem, 1 up to 5 or so. Nya pulihan lang og mga variables. Mahilig kay sila mag-regression, mahilig kay sila mag-correlation, puli-pulihan lang din ang mga variables niya. Then, ano bitag, it diminishes the act of research. Kaya the topic again is, again, overly studied. Okay? So don't be like that. If you're teaching a methods course or a research course, do not ask your students to submit a title. No? You have a special place in hell if you do that. Okay? Sorry. Sige. Um, I teach research course in the undergraduate level, and if you look at the modules I develop, I always begin with literature review. No, we always begin with literature review. We ask our students. I even have a matrix that I ask students to fill out. I call it LAT, no, literature analysis table. And it's a matrix. I ask students to summarize at least 20 papers they have read related to their interest and then identify what has been studied. So for example, some students are interested in samo sa science, no? For example, some students are interested in developing laboratory kits to demonstrate a certain concept in physics, for example. So I ask them to look at literature and then summarize literature based on the matrix I provided and ask them to sort, to group according to related procedures or methods, to related findings, and so on. From that, they are able to develop a good literature review. Although now, pwede naman na mabuhat ni AI, for example, ni ChatGPT, but I asked them to do that. And that practice allows them to identify novelty, to identify gap in the literature. Okay? And that should also be a good practice for PhD students. Simple lang. It's just a table, title, author, what are their problem objectives or their research objectives, what are the methods utilized, what are the key findings, and then the bibliographic entry. Yan na lang kinapabot sa estudyante. So, basa silang paper, i-identify nila kung sa objectives sa study, kung sa key findings, kung sa methods. And from that, they can arrange, they can sort. Kaya, di ba sa Excel, maka-sort man ta. They can put codes for the methods and then they can simply sort. Oh, sa'yo na rin kaya maghimong literature review kay the topics, the methods, for example, are sorted according to kinsa nag-quanti, kinsa nga mga paper ang nag-quanti, kinsa nga mga paper ang nag-quali, kinsa nga mga paper ng mixed method. For quanti, what has been done? Survey na ba? Nag-experiment ba? And so on and so forth. Sa'yo nakaayo kay naka-summarize na siya in the matrix. Okay? Yeah. So, okay. And here are some more memes, no? I don't know if you have experienced this, no? So you have already a topic for a research paper. You open Microsoft Word, then you got a title, and then okay, that's enough for today. That's already an excellent progress. Or this is how you feel after writing the title page of your paper. Ako, I vividly remember in my master's program, we were required to do a research for a certain course, no? Ipakamap ni sa among teacher at sa among professor on research paper for a course. Yeah, na ako sa Starbucks ato, I vividly remember it was a fiesta, no? Nag una kong title, sulat kong title una, and then may ko kabalon sa akong buhaton. So, whole afternoon, nagbasa ko. Ako Microsoft Word, title lang ako namutang. You see, uh, the process was wrong at the very beginning because nagsugod ko ang title, aya pa din ko nagbasa sa mga papers. So, nahulot akong time, sige pangita, o mga basahon, nag-download ng mga PDF, nga wala nagibasa, charot lang. Nag-download ng mga PDF, nagbasa-basa ko nuhay. Hantod siya, nahurot ang time, wala pa ko nasulat, kaya pa mo ko nagbasa. But if nagsugod ko og literature analysis una, naghimo ko akong ginapabot sa mga estudyante karon, himo sila Excel, and then kaya din sila unsay tawag ani, nagsulat. It would have been much easier if they did it that way. Okay, na naman sila yung basis from a table, from a matrix, makakamap na rin sila og write up. Okay? Sige. Probably if we have time later, I can show you the matrix I require my students to do. Okay? Sige. Titles. We begin with titles. So titles, while they are as I've said earlier, they should come at the end of the okay, there's a chat. Okay. Unsa man ning noted, sir? Noted sa unsa. Sige. As I mentioned earlier, the title should not come at the beginning of the lesson, but should come at the end, not lesson, at the beginning of the project or the process. It should come at the end. But it's also an important component of our study, no? Because it serves as number one, as a signpost. It attracts readers to read. I think it was 3 or 4 years ago. I submitted a paper on a certain in a respectable journal, and one comment I got from a reviewer is, kanang, do not include a locator in your title because it limits the readability of your paper. At first, yung kung, ha? Ano siya pasabot? Yan yung pasabot is, katulad ng title sa akong study na ay gibutang nga locator, Cagayan de Oro City. It provides a very specific context which does not have any bearing on the study that was conducted. Kasi pasabot adto. Kato siya nga paper was about measuring uh, predictors of teaching confidence. Oo. Science teaching confidence. So the title was about that. When inaada yoy sa end part sa title of Cagayan de Oro City, Philippines. Ang gigon sa reviewer was, the Cagayan de Oro City, Philippines is not an important component of the title because what we wanted to show was just the predictors or the factor that can predict teaching confidence. And the location does not have any bearing to that relationship. And if you put location, it limits the readability of your paper. So meaning, for example, if I'm an Indonesian researcher and I'm looking for paper relating to that field, dili na to nila basahon akong paper because it's very specific to Cagayan de Oro City. It might not be true to the context of Indonesia. Nasabtan? So if wala na bearing ang location sa study natin gibuhat, pwede na to siya dili apilon sa title. If you can look at the more recent papers I wrote, published in some journals, wala na to yung mga location. Eh, I've learned from that experience. Kaya wala man na siya bearing, di ba? Like for example, when we look at a certain intervention, implement it in an experimental design and saw improvement in the performance of the students. Na ba na bearing kung i-conduct to siya sa Cagayan de Oro, sa Misamis Oriental, sa Bukidnon, so wala man, di ba? What we wanted to show is whether the intervention was effective or not. And if your readers are interested of your research setting, then they can read your paper. They can find it in the methods section, but not in the title. Because again, that limits the readability of your paper. And when I did that, we had one paper published in the Journal of Chemical Education last year. It has got 4 citations now. Yeah, last year pa to siya na-publish. You see, that means it has more audience reach because of kanang limiting the locator in the study. But that doesn't mean dili importante ang locator. No, nagya po importance na siya. For example, sa amo sa sciences, like for example, we're looking at qualities of water quality, for example. So we have to indicate location because the location has an effect, has a bearing to water quality. Okay? Sige. Another importance of the title is it provides focus on what the aim of the study, because the title often contains what variables are explored, what variables are correlated, what variables are studied. So it provides a glimpse to readers what to expect in the paper. Okay? And most importantly, titles are always preliminary. The titles you presented in your dissertation, last time for your dissertation, will always be preliminary. It will only be final when you submit your paper for hardbound or for publication, or once it's published. It often gets revised and revised and revised depending on the angle, the perspective, the component of the research. Like for example, in your dissertation, uh, you had 7 problem statements, perhaps, for example, no? And then you only publish the 2. So the title would change based on the angle, the perspective, kung unsa lang tong inyong gusto i-publish. So dili na siya magparehas og title sa inyong dissertation. Kikato ang first two inyong i-publish. Okay? Pwede din na, sir, pwede kaayo because again, your dissertation has a very large scope. So you can break it down into 3, 4 publications. Especially katong mga nasa State U, kasi ito nasa State U. There is Sir Lester, for example. Diba, Sir Lester, na may bago nga policy sa NB sa atong promotion nga dili pwede
Yes, sir.
magamit ang publication from graduate, which is a graduation requirement. So what we advise our
Yes,
student,
sir.
chap-chapon ang dissertation. Kuan gamay, publish para requirement sa graduation. Then pag-graduate, then you continue publishing parts of your dissertation. Oh, then that would be okay. That would be considered for promotion purposes. Okay, ni-graduate naman ka. Then those are not requirement for graduation. Okay?
Mao gid nang sir,
Yes,
mo
sir.
gid ang concern, advisable nga mixed methods gid nga mo sir no para at
Yeah.
least
Oo.
ang quali part, quanti part. Thank you, sir.
Actually, ang ginabuhat sa math, ako na notice, ang ginasuggest ni Ma'am Laila, is ang i-publish gyud ang literature review. Kung ang katuin niyo mga seniors probably, tanaw ninyo, sa ilang sa ilahang independent study, ga-publish na sila sa ilang literature review. Kaya para mo to ilang requirement for graduation. Pag abot dayon sa pagwa nila graduate, katong mga parts sa ilang dissertation, pwede na din nila i-publish para magamit nila sa for promotion purposes. Okay, and that's a good thing that you can do to maximize your research work at the same time to get promoted. No? Ako, for example, wala pa man ang rule sa amo sa una. Akong dissertation was uh, was divided into 5 papers. Ako kay ko nangakuha adto. Yan isugot pa gid akong advisor nga dili siya apilon. Tsaka ayaw na ko apila para ma-maximize nimo ang points. So, ani, dagko kay kong points ato sa akong publication. Depende lang kung sugutin yung advisor. Kung mag-advisor na ito nga time was already retired and he was already Professor Sixfood that time. So, hindi na niya kinanglan ang extra points. So, nisugot ra siya. Okay? So, you can do that. But very importantly, ako lang sa deng i-remind kayo, pasin, you will take it differently. There's also what we call a salami slicing. Salami slicing. Kailan mo ng salami? Kana namin ito sa pizza. Di ba? They are, mura na siyang longganisa nga gi-slice very thinly. Okay? So, it's also unethical to divide your dissertation very thinly just to increase the number of publications you have. Like, ang isa ka problem statement, inyo pag yung tungaon, kaya para duha to siya para inyong dissertation ma-publish into 10 papers. Oo. So, that's also unethical. So, how do you address that? So what we do is you have to tell when you submit your paper to a journal, you have to tell the editor that this paper comes from a larger project. Nga mo to yung aim. So that the editor will get an idea nga it's taken from one big project. Okay? Para you are transparent at the very beginning. Yung sabi ko nagabuhaton sa uban, ilan lang yung chap-chapon very thinly salami slicing. Very gagmayon nila para daghan kay ilang papers. Okay? So that's also unethical. Okay, we go back to title. Sorry. So titles, ideally they should be short and contain 12 words or less, although this is very difficult to do. Very important lang yun reminder I can give you is make sure that the title is understandable. Kaya sa manggod, tungod sa kataas, malibog na ang readers what you want to achieve in your paper. Okay, there are 4 major components of our title. Commonly, of course, you have your subject area or the topic that is being researched, your participants or your site. As although I mentioned earlier that sites need not be shared, especially if it does not have any bearing in your findings. That is why I've placed here that the study participants and the site can often be combined. Okay, and then common na po ni nga practice karon na I've noticed in many papers, ginabutang po nila ang ilang general research approach. Like for example, XXXXX colon a mixed method study. Uso na kaya naman nga na. Something, something, something common, investigating the effects and churva, colon, a mixed methods case study design, a mixed methods experimental design. That is a practice I have noticed recently, no, sa mga papers nga ka-publish now. Okay, let's review. For qualitative titles, they often contain questions, or they use literary words or even phrases from the findings, no, na uban nga mag-quote sa katong giingon sa participants, and then they use that as part of the title. They can have quotes, metaphors, and even analogies. Like for example, I am not my brother's keeper. Colon, the experiences of students with unsa ba niya? Churba. So na ay mga drama lugar ang title. For quali, it includes the central phenomenon studied, who your study participants are, and of course, a study site if it has a bearing. And then you can also include the type of qualitative research design, like a transcendental phenomenological study. Naibutangan nila yung nga na a case study, a grounded theory, and so on. And then the title should not suggest, of course, comparison of groups and relationship. Because qualitative studies, again, they only investigate, explore, describe, and so on. They do not compare. They do not show relationship between variables. So here are some examples, although some are not related to education, but I think, of course, because this is a lecture for mixed methods research design, not specific to math ed. So, for example, if I feel something wrong, then I will get a mammogram. So this is a quotation from a participant, no? So understanding the barriers and facilitators for mammography screening among Chilean women. Okay, wait. Sa kay gababag ang akong nagway. So, many. Okay, here. Next is waiting for a liver transplant. So here, this is a dramatic way to organize a title, to write a title. Another very much formal way to write a title: How rural low-income families have fun, a grounded theory study. So here, the the phenomenon studied or explored is highlighted, and then po na yung gi-show kung unsa ang method gigamit. Okay? Next, for quantitative title, so the title clearly shows comparison of groups or relationship of variables. So components, the variables are evident kung sa mga gina-correlate, gina-compare, and so on. Of course, then the participants and then the study site. So it often includes some phrases like investigating, comparing the relationship, prediction, and so on. And of course, it can also include uh, the theories that have been tested, or the approach that has been used, or the prediction that has been made. So here's some examples. So strategies for increasing mammography screening in primary care, the affirmation of personal values buffer. So buffer here shows relationship, and then academic performance gap. So this shows comparison, no, between summer birthday and fall birthday children in grades K8. How about for mixed methods title? How do we write our mixed methods title? So same, it's supposed to be short and succinct. It also mentions the major topic being addressed, the participants, and the location. But if it's already identified in the participants, then you no longer need to tell the location. And if somehow it includes mixed methods as part of the title to highlight the overall approach being used. Um, Often, mixed methods are also neutral. It does not give emphasis kung quantity ang gigamit or quality ang gigamit, except if it's explanatory or sequential exploratory, then na siya ay emphasis. So, commonly na neutral siya. And how do we do that? So, we do that by avoiding using the word explore, meaning, discover, generate, understanding, predict, relationship, comparison, correlate, and factor. Because these words are leaning. So if you use these words, it means that it's leaning to quali. If the second set, then it means it's leaning towards quanti. So example of a neutral title, no, for a convergent study, a mixed methods approach to investigating food safety behavior in a sample of Native American and Hispanic caregivers. So here, investigating can be quali and quanti at the same time. Okay. Another example, you can neutralize it by adding quantitative and qualitative associated words. For example, closed and open-ended question tools in a telephone survey about the good teacher. An example of a mixed method study. So here, closed meaning quanti and then open-ended meaning quali. Or another example, in their own words and by the numbers. A mixed method study of Latina Community College presidents. So here, uh, in their own words, so that's quali, and then by the numbers, that's quanti. So you can also use you can also highlight the quantitative and the qualitative approach being used. So for example here, unwritten rules of talking to doctors about depression, integrating qualitative and quantitative methods. But if you're doing explanatory sequential or exploratory sequential where there is emphasis to be done in the title, like for example, kung explanatory sequential, ang emphasis will be on the quantitative phase and the variables studied and how the qualitative design is used to explain. So here's an example, no? A multi-method measurement of high risk drinking locations. So extending the portal survey methods with follow-up telephone interviews. Or here, grit within the context of career success, a mixed methods study. So here, grit was measured quantitatively and then examined through a qualitative study. So that's explanatory sequential. For exploratory, one technique you can use is to emphasize what the study leads to. Like for example, I think many of you are doing exploratory, like you're collecting qualitative data to design intervention, to design an instrument or a scale. So you can use this kind of technique to design your title. Like for example here, development and validation of a racial discrimination measure for Cambodian American adolescents, or development of and validation of a scale to measure churba. Butangan din yung colon, a sequential exploratory mixed methods design. Oh. So to show that there was qualitative involved in the design and development of the scale. Okay? How about if it's a mixed methods experimental? So you have to show that the qualitative data is embedded and the reason for the use of that data. So for example here, second example, group music therapy for patients with persistent post-traumatic stress disorder. an exploratory randomized control trial with mixed methods evaluation. So here, the QALY serves as an evaluation tool of the intervention being introduced. So here, for a case study often, iya ginang i-mention kinsa nga case, kinsa nga group being explored or investigated. And of course, it includes the words case study. So for example, here, privacy, security, and the National Health Information Network. A mixed methods case study of state level stakeholder awareness. If it's a participatory social justice design, I'm not sure if naabay mag-ingani. So you can also include the framework used to frame the study. So, like for example, prenatal breastfeeding self-efficacy and the narratives from a Black feminist perspective. Or you can also include a specific group being advanced. Like this one, the marginalized group here is the student athlete. So you can include that as the marginalized group being studied. Teachers from, for example, teachers from the hinterlands. Oh, mga na yung mga drama. Designing an professional development program for mathematics teachers in the hinterlands. Okay. How about for evaluation design? So, pasayloan, wala na edit ng sample. So, it should capture the spirit of the many phases of an evaluation project. Wait lang, I'll show you an example. Wait, para natin example. Kinsa ganito. So, for example, one advisee I have, he's doing a mixed methods project evaluation. So medyo bugat actually yung study. So let me stop sharing first. So for example, kanino muna yung project evaluation. Can you see my slides? So yung title is to highlight the project. So the Luntian project. Greening general chemistry modules to develop teachers' knowledge in green chemistry and learners' perception towards sustainability. So here, uh, makita ninyo sa title na project. So it's a project evaluation. And then the first phase is to greening general chemistry learning module. So that denotes the introduction of green chemistry concepts in the module. And the next is develop teachers' knowledge in general chemistry. So that denotes teacher professional development. And then finally, as an evaluation is learners' perception towards sustainability. So this title shows the complexity of the topic as well as the different phases of the study. And that demonstrates the mixed methods project evaluation design of the paper. Okay? May pangutana so far? May pangutana so far? Before we continue?
Sir Jello, good morning there, sir.
Sure. Sige, sir.
Kanang based sa mga example nga imong gipatag nga mga titles sir kay dili sa strictly followed tong 12 words nga rules sir no. So what makes the exemption an exemption in having a title with more than 12 words?
Good question. So katong 12 words at least akong gihatag ka ganina is an ideal way to write the title. Mo to kung gi-remind ka ganina nga the 12 words might not be followed. What's important is that you make sure that from the title itself masabtan na dayon ang study. Kaya often mangurusahay na yung mga titles nga subraan kataas like 20, 30 words. Hindi nila nakasabot ang sige lang yung gibuhat. Nga na bitaw. So very importantly, for example, in USTP's case, we do not limit to 12 words. Good. Yala, dili ni ma-approve kay more than 12 words in title. No. The 12 words I mentioned earlier is just a conventional rule that we follow to ensure that the title is brief. But it's not a limitation nga. 12 words ra gyud dapat. Okay? Murag lagwan lang ba? Guiding light so that we would limit the words that we use. Okay?
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Klaro, sir.
In one paper that we submitted to a journal, I remember no, naglisod ko og sulat og title tungod sa kadagan variables. Wala mo sa akong gibuhan. I copied the abstract. I pasted it on AI, ChatGPT. I asked ChatGPT to suggest 3 titles. Yan, nindot po ba yung mga suggestion? And the paper was already uh, uh, accepted with minor revisions. And we submitted already the revision and we're just waiting for the final acceptance. And it was submitted to a Scopus Q2 journal. Okay? So you can also do that, but you have to be very careful with using AI in your research because number one, when you submit text, for example, your whole paper to an AI, it becomes part of the AI's memory. Kaya yan naman itong mahimo naman ito niyang sa tawag niya na learning material ni AI. So mag-careful sad ta sa mga magamit niya na. Okay? Sige, we continue. Okay, now we go to we're now good with titles. We now go to how do we structure our introduction. And many graduate students, even of course undergraduate students, but of course na-notice yun, kanang sa undergrad makasabot mo ta. But sa graduate students, di kasabot, char lang. Masuko mga panel kay ang mahitabo is that ang estudyante kana bitang ma ma-engrossed kay siya sa pagsulat. Mahitabo taas na din kaayo iyang introduction. Now we no longer understand what the student wants to do. And often introduction na taman ang gabasahon sa panel. Kunya, moambak na rin sila og problem statement, then moambak na rin og methods. Nga na, good go. I read first the introduction to get the context of what the study is, and then I go directly to what the research questions are, and then if the methods are coherent with the statement of the problem, and then I look at how the findings are organized, if it conforms to the problem statement. So how do we organize our introduction? So I offer to you, I'm showing to you a general formula that I follow when I write introduction. And if you read all my papers, ga-follow gini siya inganing order. Okay? First, I introduce the topic. Then second, I tell the readers what's the problem. It can be a real world problem or a gap in the literature. And then I discuss what are the studies that have been conducted to address the problem, and not just to discuss what the studies are, but to criticize their deficiencies, because these deficiencies provide the context and the novelty of the work. Okay? Sige, maghatag tag example. Okay, saan na nag-chat? Oh, yes, of course. Pwede ra gyud more than 12, no? Naghanta, wait sa mag-stop shares ako ha. So that may tatag sample. Okay. So, for example, kani, collaborative creativity of science education students as game creators in their research project. Pila man ka words? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. O, di ba? Sobra na. But it's still brief. And from the title, you can already get what the study is all about. Right? O, kani, mubo ra ni. Ayaw lang ni kay chemistry man ni. O, kani, taas-taas. Integrating green chemistry and sustainability principles to a secondary science curriculum. A mixed methods needs assessment. O, kani, taas gali niyo. O, community-based drug rehabilitation clients, motivation, satisfaction, and the factors affecting their completion of the rehabilitation and aftercare program. A convergent mixed method study. So this is very long, di ba? But I think all the variables are important. Mo nang highlight na mo tanan. And yeah. So kani, um, let's take a look at example on how an introduction is crafted. So kanina this paper is by my undergraduate students, my advisees, and they're the ones who wrote it. But of course, I revised it thoroughly. Okay, kanami itong mga undergrad, kanang mga sinulatan sa mga undergrad kay kuan man na kanang di pa kayo publication worthy. So halos na-revise yun ako ni tanan mo. Urag na nabili na lang ani kay mga tables ra o mga figures. So, kanib, it is a very simple paper of a thesis of my undergraduate students, and it's already published in a very high impact journal, no? Journal of Chemical Education. This is actually a top journal with an impact factor of 2.5. And you seldom find an education journal with that kind of impact factor. So, title, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 words. Oo. Let's take a look at the introduction. Ayan, okay. So, read online na lang ta. Loading. So, let's take a look at how the introduction was organized. Very short, no? Pila na, 3 paragraphs. So, here, diretso. Ang akong introduction already talk about chemistry teaching. Wala na ko naghisgot about PISA, wala na ko naghisgot about teams, result, wala na ko naghisgot about DepEd order, wala na kay those are kanang irrelevant things. Automatic diretso ko ningon niya, despite being part of every aspect of our lives, chemistry is equally criticized and appreciated. Teaching chemistry in high school should be about promoting the subject as a creative science and an intellectual endeavor. According to recent research,
Excuse me, sir.
yes,
Pasensya gid sir kung mabatin ko sir kay basig mamalimot ko sir ba kanang
sige.
is there a difference sa imong introduction nga gi-publish or sa introduction sa thesis bound?
Of course.
Yes, kay kung
Oh,
inani mo good sir, usually kay kung di ba kung gi-publish ang paper, the introduction that we made in our published paper, shorter gid siya na version sa
kaayo.
introduction.
Oh,
Yes, so what are we trying to say sir is that are you suggesting number of words in the introduction that we should make? If so, naa mo gitingali ma-estimate, sir.
oh, mag-differ gid sila, but I think the very essence I'm showing this to you is that when we try to write our introduction, it should be very brief. Ano bitong, do not put mga paragraphs there that are not related to the context of the study. Kay kabalo mo kanang kami lugar for example, kanang mag-panel me. Matingala gid mi kay ngano perminti na ay mga DepEd order, na ay mga CHED memorandum order nga are not anymore related to the topic. Pero nga ni bitaw, I'll continue lang, Sir Edmond. So here in
Yes,
this
thank you.
paragraph, we're just showing, the authors are just showing that there is a problem in the teaching of chemistry, and that problem is the passive teaching approach. And then here we also demonstrated that passive ang pagtudlo sa chemistry, and here we shown that unsa ang mga galisdan nga topic sa students. And even ingon mi diri nga ang chemical bonding is easy, but still students have shown difficulty in understanding chemical bonding. Mo ra man among focus. And diri dayon diretso na rin ko diri sa literature where I've shown my criticism. Nga, mo ni na-study nga nagamit og jigsaw puzzle, na nagamit og mobile app, na nagamit og game gihapon, but for French students and Indonesian high school students, and then they utilize game, but their focus was about the validation and practicality. Ingon din ko din na no previous study has found that the intervention improve academic achievement. Although na-game, nagibuhat, lang focus was on playability. Diretso rin ko na-present sa akong research gap, sa akong research objectives. So, nga na lang, very short. Dili na kinanglan taason. And here, in the next few slides, I'll show to you some techniques you can do on writing your introduction. So, here are you seeing my screen? Slides?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So here, when you present dayon the literature, very important gyud dayon, duha ka paragraph, ang last two paragraph or sometimes they're combined. We call this as the gap paragraph and then the purpose statement paragraph. So kaning gap paragraph, this comes after showing the literature. Ug kanang sa literature, dili kinahanglan inyong i-highlight tanan nga literature nga inyo nakita. Sa inyong introduction, kinahanglan maskin tulo lang ka major work related. Kanang yung pinaka silingan, pinaka duol, pinaka similar nga paper. Mo na inyong ibutang sa inyong introduction. Paghuman, inyo din to silang i-criticize. So here's an example of how you can criticize the work. For example, here, if you're doing a convergent, a gap exists because past research has only provided a partial view using either quanti or quali. There's a need for a more complete understanding through comparing and synthesizing both quanti and quali. So you mean to say, ang literature, si Walag et al. Only did quanti. Estimada et al. Only did quali. Edmond Gumaling et al. Did only quanti. Walay studying both quanti and quali ang gibuhat. That's what I'm doing so that we can have a more complete understanding. Or if explanatory, majority ang gabuhaton kay pirminta lang nila tanawon ang relationship. Tanawon ang difference between this intervention and that intervention, but they do not provide an explanation. So mo din imong drama diri. A gap exists because past research has not adequately explained the mechanism or context behind the relationship, behind the differences, behind the trends. There is a need to not only obtain quantitative results, but to explain such results in more detail, especially in terms of detailed voices and participant perspectives. So kani, mo na ninyong script, mo na ninyong kopyahon para sa inyong gap statement or gap paragraph. But you have to, of course, replace mga words like kaning quanti and quali, pulihan ninyo. Like, for example, a gap exists because past research has only provided us with the perceptions as shown in Likert scale and the experiences of students. The notable learning experiences of students. So there is a need to examine both and so on. Okay? So, muna yung gap statement. Nya, often, diri mawala. Taas kayo ang introduction, but walay gap statement. Walay critical analysis sa literature. So, padayon. So, here are some more examples you can look at your own time. Okay? And then, finally, ang kulang sa introduction is what we call as a purpose statement. So, now you have identified the gap in the literature. What do you want to do? Muna ning, thus, the aim of this study, ano rin ka, muna rin inyong objective or what we call as a purpose statement. So, how do we do a purpose statement? So, we have 4 elements. First, your intent. What do you want to do? What is your aim? Next is you identify what mixed method study design you're using. Third, why, what's the purpose of doing that design? And then you justify. Sige, example, if you're doing a convergent study, mo na ni inyong script, Sir Edmond, pwede ka maglisod, mo na inyong last paragraph. Si gap, second to the last. Si kaning purpose statement mo ning last nga paragraph. Mingon din ka. Here, if you're convergent ang inyong study, this mixed method study will address, sa dito yung aim, will address the gap of katong sa to. Then, supayan din yung design type. A convergent parallel mixed methods design will be used as it is a type of design in which qualitative and quantitative data are corrected in parallel, analyzed separately, and then merged. In this study, sa nitong variable, will be used uh, to test the theory, kay quantitative man, that predicts independent variable will positively or negatively influence a dependent variable for high school students. The qualitative data, which is, for example, if it's an interview or somebody, will explore the experiences of high school students. And the reason for collecting both quanti and quali data is to validate the results or corroborate the results, the two form of data to bring greater insight into the problem than would be obtained by either type of data separately. So here's an example. The intent of this study is to learn about the food choices of First Nations women with type 2 diabetes. A convergent mixed method study will be used to compare and discuss the similarities and differences of both quantitative and qualitative data. In this approach, survey will be used to measure the relationship between the factors like family background and food choices. At the same time, individual food choices will be explored using interviews and participant observations with type 2 diabetes. The reason for collecting both quanti and quali data is to determine whether literature-based survey responses differ from individual perspectives. If so, to identify why these responses differ. How about if explanatory? Ngani ang script. The purpose of this study is to design and develop, is to identify the reasons for student absences. Yan ang lugar. The explanatory sequential mixed methods design will be used to involve collecting quantitative data and then explaining the quantitative results with an in-depth qualitative data. In the first quantitative phase of the study, an absences, for example, an absences instrument will be used to collect the reason for absences of high school students at Cagayan de Oro City to test. Unsa dito nga theory to test sa mga theory ang gamiton for student absences to assess whether uh, socioeconomic status relate to absences. So, for example, nga na. In the second qualitative phase will be conducted as a follow-up to the quantitative results to help explain, unsa dito nga i-explain, to help explain the relationship between socioeconomic status with student absences. In this exploratory follow-up, the tentative plan is to explore, exploratory, din eh. To explore unsa tong phenomenon and then explain. Okay? So here's an example. You can read this at your own time and then exploratory. So here, I think na yung mga dagan mag-exploratory sa inyo, di ba? Katong mag-develop og intervention, mag-develop og skills. So pwede nga ninyong gamiton. So the first phase of the study will be qualitative exploration of unsa man to, AI integration, which will be collected from that. And then from the from the interview, it will be used to develop, unsa man yung i-develop, a survey, a new instrument, set of intervention, a website, training material, an instructional material that can be administered to a large sample. It will then be tested. So, muna ito, i-test na rin ninyo kung mugana ba itong inyong i-develop. Okay? And then here are more examples of scripts you can follow. Okay? Question so far for purpose statement. So we've covered title, gap, purpose statement. Si gap o si purpose statement, pinaka-importante sa introduction. So, when you write your introduction, overview, problem, gap, purpose statement. Then, you now proceed to the research questions. Pamata na so far. Kera? Excited na magsulat ng introduction? Ma'am Princess? Ma'am Jody?
Wala pa ka-finalize, sir.
Wala pa na yung topic. Di ba na naman
Full
to?
ba pa sir? Wala pa na-finalize.
Sir.
Sige lang. So, magbalik-balik, basa na po. Okay, so now we go to, you have now your gap statement, your purpose statement. Now we go to how do we write our research questions. So let's review first. For quali, often it contains a central question and then followed by subsequent or specific questions. So for quali, often we ask what or how questions because this suggests an exploration of central phenomenon. Although in some papers na sila yung mga why questions, kaning why manggod, they are, according to Creswell, they are more quanti-oriented because they provide kana bitang uh, relationships nga questions or inferential or relationship results rather than exploring. So, for example, what are the notable learning experiences of the students when exposed to this kind of intervention, or what are the barriers for integrating AI in mathematics classroom, or how do teachers perceive AI integration in Quant. So that denotes exploration of the variable. So often, in qualitative, you have a central question, a very central question, and it can then be broken down into sub-questions. So for example, what happened? So what are the barriers to AI integration in mathematics classroom? So na din kay mga subsequent questions like who are the, for example, who was involved, pwede rin ka nga, who are, sa ba, kanang or what are the enabling mechanisms to integrate, ayun na lang, what are the enabling mechanisms to integrate AI in the classroom? So, barriers to, din ang kay mga enabling mechanisms. So, from the barriers, mangutan na rin ka sa mga teachers unsa ila mga best practices to identify enabling mechanisms. Di ba? So, then, nanin kay another sub-question. What themes of response emerged during the the interview and so on? Or kung na grounded theory, what theoretical constructs can help us understand the 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 barriers, challenges, and the enabling mechanisms in AI integration in mathematics classroom? So, nga na. For quanti, often, it requires one man, naman kay testing of hypothesis ani. So, na kay testing, na relationship, na comparison, and so on. So, your questions would lead to hypothesis. And so, of course, you have null and directional hypothesis because quanti, it often make predictions about the results or relating variables. So, na kay mga ingani nga mga state hypothesis. Null hypothesis, if kuan siya, no direction, like there is no significant difference between the effects of verbal instruction rewards and lack of reinforcement on learning spelling among fourth grade children. But if it's directional, one-sided, wala man wala kay mga math teachers man mo. Fourth grade children perform better on spelling test when they receive verbal instructions than when they receive rewards or no reinforcement. So, naay direction. Then, imo na yung question is, what is the relationship between instructional approach and spelling achievement for fourth grade? Or pwede po, is there a significant relationship between instructional approach and spelling achievement among fourth grade students? How about for mixed methods? So, very importantly, if since your dissertations are mixed method, na kay tulo ka klase nga questions. You have quanti, quali, and a mixed method. So it's not a mixed method study if you do not have a mixed methods research question. So how do we do that? So of course, quanti, na kay quanti nga question or quali nga question, then na kay integrating question. And it is often followed by policy development questions, implementation question, or future research questions. Okay, let's have an example. Before we have an example. So for for MMR questions, it can be categorized according, although naghimo na mag-output ani, it can be categorized as a method focus, content focus, or a combination of mixed methods question. So here, for example, mo ni imong quanti, no? Is there a statistically significant difference in students' mathematical creativity after the intervention? Then mo din quali. What are the students' perception of differential calculus during the intervention? So experiment mo din eh. So mo experiment before and after, and then mo din during the intervention. So your quali is integrated during the intervention. So how do you construct a mixed methods research question? So pwede na kay methods, content, or combination. So methods, to what extent do the qualitative results confirm the quantitative result? Content focus. How do the perspectives of the students about calculus support the results in the improvement of their mathematical creativity? Or if you have combination, what results emerge from comparing the explanatory qualitative data about the students' perspectives with the outcome quantitative data on their mathematical creativity? So, pangutan na dayon, which is better? Content, a method, content, or combination? So, the correct answer there is none. Magdepende sa how you use it or how or it would how it would improve understanding of the problem statement. So, for example, mas makasabot ta ani, then pwede ta methods focused. But if it provides much more clarity kung i-content focus, then okay. If it's combination, then okay. So magdepende siya how the methods is often used in our field of discipline, or how readers would easily understand your research question. So here are some more scripts you can follow in designing your research questions. Magdepende kung unsa inyong design, no? If it's convergent design, so pwede mga ingani ang drama, no? To what extent do self-esteem ratings agree with the views of self-esteem by middle school boys? Or if it's explanatory, in what ways do the views of middle school boys about their self-esteem explain their self-reported levels of self-esteem? Or if it's exploratory, are the middle school boys' views about their self-esteem generalizable to many middle school boys? Kay quali man una, then quanti, and so on. Okay? So here are some more examples you can review depending on your research question. Okay? So some more tips when writing your research question. Of course, you have to select the format that best fits your audience or your field in mathematics education, and make sure you are consistent in your variables. Muna ako na-notice, no? Although seldom na ako ni makita sa graduate student, but sa undergrad, common kani. Like, for example, in their quanti, they used, is there significant difference in the academic performance of the students? Ana, paabot din sa mixed methods, dingon din sila, how do the learning experiences of the students help explain in the conceptual understanding. So, imong gigamit sa taas, academic performance, unya pag-abot sa ubos, conceptual understanding. So, you are not consistent with the term that you're using. Even in the quali, ningon kag learning experiences. Pag-abot dito sa mixed methods, kiningon din ka og notable experiences. So may pasabatan ng learning experiences, may pasabatan ng notable experiences, may pasabatan ng significant others, more knowledgeable others. Parehara ba na sila or dili? So we have to be consistent. So often we use combination questions so that it can help us convey our question to larger audience, no? And it provides more clarity, but it doesn't always provide better clarity depending gihapon sa inyong audience. And of course, include sub-questions associated with your quanti and quali, and then include a mixed methods question. Okay? Yeah, if the if the questions are independent, like convergent, then order them according to importance. But if they are sequential, like explanatory or exploratory, organize them chronologically. Okay? And there are also times when the questions are emergent. So you can indicate this in your concept nga. There will be qualitative, but it will emerge after the first phase of the study. Okay, especially sa proposal nga stage. Pwede ninyo butangan ng mga emergent questions. So, pwede lang temporary lang sa oo. Like for example, explanatory inyo, nagtanaw mo og uh, quanti una, tanaw ninyo mga relationship. Na inyong quali dili pa man mo sure. So pwede sa inyo ibutang sa inyong quali nga emergent question like uh, uh, what what notable or surprising results will be examined later in the qualitative phase of the study. So meaning dili pa final. Okay? And then finally, as a requirement for this, no? So although some of you already have your research question, so try to write a research question that best suits your study. So write content focused, methods focused, and a combination focused. Okay? And adapt the wording to fit your particular study. So tanawon tanin yung mga examples kanina, then you frame it according to your study. And you don't need to make a presentation. Okay? Question? Clarification? Or nalibugan? Or disagreement? Dili mo agree sa akong istorya? No? Mas hindi ay. No? Na ay mga mas experience sa inyo din nga. Di ba na ma-sir? Okay. Yes, Sir Mark.
Morning, sir. Uh, Sir Madunga ko nimo, sir.
Yes, oo.
Ako po, suppose, sir, I follow the explanatory sequential design, sir, no?
Mhm.
And actually, you discussed naman, sir. Ako na i-clarify, sir, no? So, I have to begin with quantitative research questions.
Mhm.
Then, una kong question kanina, sir, no? Kung, since si quali is dependent on the results sa quanti, ang akong quali nga research question, sir, kay more on what emerging kutong what emerging variables ba ito yung ginamin, sir, sa ako
One,
pagsulat ko.
emerging imong question, meaning, pwede ang imong ipangutana lang sa dito is, yun sa ganun nila pagsulat. For example, for example, atong example, sir, is explanatory man to, sir, ba?
Yes, sir,
Sige.
explanatory.
Example, na intervention, and then
Oo.
nag-interview ka sa students about their learning experiences. So pwede ka mag-decide taan. Kung intervention mo, gudwa raman imong atulod imong option na. One is imong interview nang nidagko ang score. Number two, ang nigamay ang score or wala ni improve. Ang number three, wala na outro. So pwede ka to. Diretso na rin ka maka-decide. But what if ang imong gibuhat kay regression? So kana wala pa kakabalo unsa ang mga relationship. So pwede ang imong ibutang dito sa imong quali is temporary lang sa nga question nga. How what what will be, for example, na nakay quali, ang imong, sa man be? Sa galit ang imo, sir, ang imong quali is, sa galit imong quali, sir?
Akong quali sir kay
Di ba, imong quanti, kay katuman to mga predictors to their,
ah
sa ilang,
yes, to
sa
their
ilang grade,
success
o sa ilang success,
oo.
o. Sa imong quali, gali ato, sir?
about
Nalimot.
about imong tungkol sir, di actually di mo gito siya klaro kay wala pa man ta emerging, so ako na siyang gi-assume sir about their learning experiences sir
Oh,
towards their
pwede
success.
butang na to. So, tanawon to nimong variables din na kay, for example, ang imong quali is their challenges in, you'd like to explore their challenges in a community college. Ana, oh, so pwede dayon, imo din question, how do the challenges help explain any notable relationship in the quantitative phase? So, wala siya og temporary lang sa ba?
Temporarily na sir. I
Oo.
understand sir.
Tangan lang din mo note nga kanang the notable the sige to ko, the notable relationship will emerge after the quantitative phase. Utangan lang
Quantitative.
note
Okay.
para ang panel makasabot nga okay, later on pa din niya makita.
Okay. Thank you
Pwede na
sir.
lang siya nga na. But often man good, wala kayo ga explanatory, wala ko mahatag nga example. Ang explanatory nga regression ilang gagamiton. Ang often nga gagamit og explanatory is kanang intervention ang ilang design. Unya, mo din to tulo ra ka buk nimong option. Ni-improve ang score, katong walay changes ang score or ninaog ang score. So, often ang atong gusto tanawon is katumang ni-improve ang score. So, what were the learning experiences of the students that would help explain the improvement in their mathematical creativity, for example. Nga na often wala kayo garig na ba? Wala kayo ma-remember sa math. Oh. But I hope
Usually sir exploratory sir no?
mostly exploratory
Exploratory
ang math kay ganan man sila mag-develop og kanang scale kaysa
intervention.
oo.
Thank you sir.
Sige, any more questions? Sir Michael, Sir Sandy, may pangutana. Ma'am Hazel? Okay, wala naman siguro, no? If na, of course, you can raise your hand. So, reminder again, we will not meet on November 2 and November 9. I'll give that time to you to really come up with your research questions as well as finalize your concept paper. But it doesn't mean that we're not meeting on November 2 and November 9. Uh, you cannot consult. So, of course, you can always email me if you want to consult about your concept papers for your dissertation. Email ahead so that we can agree on time and then we can have one-on-one or a group session if daghan mo, then we can talk about your concept papers. Okay? So that hopefully before the semester ends, we can schedule a concept paper defense for all of you kay daghan man sad mo. Okay? And then of course, akong ihatag kang Sir Dennis inyong mga concept so that he can identify the panel member appropriate for your topic. Okay? And of course, you can also suggest. Sige. Okay na? Ano pangutana? Sige, nalimot kong stop.